tone and maybe meaning I'm going to take action or this can't stand. I took that personally. So the interpretation of a threat is what worries me.
Well,
Thankfully,
I'm gonna
the
go to
FBI
Morning
doesn't arrest
Joe
anybody just
and
on if
see
somebody's
what's
feelings
on
are
Morning
hurt. But the
Joe.
Investigation costs you money. Then you got to get a lawyer to push back.
this is a symptom of a politicized Department of Justice doing what obviously an advocacy group is interested in, and that is shutting parents up. There, the CRT meetings that we see from Loudoun County and elsewhere, not helping the Democrats.
They're
And
on a
so,
commercial.
what's the best way to fix that? Pull the plug on it.
Well,
and if you
that's
don't
what-
have anybody yelling, you don't have any good
That's
video.
No,
what Ms. King is saying. She said
I
get
I
out
fail to
of
see
the
Fox's.
school system,
All
mass
three of them
exodus,
don't
because
have
we have to
much
do it together so that
outrage.
we can send a message.
How
It
can
cannot be
these
done by
tyrannical
children.
What they did is
rulers
expulsing the next
in
parent.
these schools tell parents what's going on that they have to shut up? Who are they? They should be outraged on Fox. These freaking people should be thrown in prison. Taking away free speech of parents? What is this, fucking Nuremberg, Germany?
Where he won by 10 to 15 points. Remarkably unpopular because of these things. Parents don't need to see a 30-second spot to know how they feel about this. It's not good.
The teachers' unions are stupid. The boards are stupid that teach evolution. And yeah, Lord Fauci says that if you double up on the big porous mass, like a sperm going through two hula hoops. That's what I say. This little virus is like 10 million to 30 million could fit on the end of a needle. Porous, disposable mask, and Fauci's like, you can double them up.
We never follow.
A sperm going through a hula hoop.
We pave a new way.
Great, you have two hula hoops?
Because we know you're
yeah, that'll stop the sperm cell.
Get a great deal and get behind the wheel of a new 2021 CRV and see how it's completely catered to you.
It's all done by money, right? It's all done by money. Now these schools for Rona regulations, them instilling Rona regulations and getting government grants for new filters, new protection devices for the students, and they probably pay what $45 a piece for these plexiglass things, and they probably get the government gives them $100 a piece. They pocket the rest and giving the teachers bonuses and such. It's all about money, right? We got to listen to the Obama government. They give us perks. Let me make it clear. Our tyrannical rules for the Rona regulations were, yes, indeed, if a kid fart through his mouth, I'm glad we have a disposable mask to stop the odor. Well, yes, the molecule for... Look, why do you smell poop when someone farts through their pants? Little tiny poop blown into the air. When you smell, you're actually tasting the poop. Now this material is a little bit larger than a virus. So if we look at pants versus a mask, I rest my case. The hell's going on, Kevin? I just got here. I don't know. I'm just hanging out waiting for old MSNBC still on commercial. Okay, Kevin. Sorry if I hang out, man. Yeah, you can hang out, I guess. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. What kind of leader would Jesus be coming back in the millennium? Rod of iron. Rod of iron. Maybe he's pissed off at mankind. Maybe, people think, oh, it's heaven on earth. Well, maybe for some, he might have a unique leading style. Or, those that live by faith, you're in heaven. Those of you that believed in Lord Fauci, where you was a germaphobe and refused to comfort your neighbors in a pandemic, to give them hugs, to pray for them like the Bible says. We have some rules and regulations to live by.
So important. Tells you when your perfectly seared steaks are ready, or that it roasts a whole chicken in half the time. But seeing is believing. And when you cook with Pure Light, the difference is as clear as day. See for yourself at brava.com.
All right, and now it's time for Mika's news. Now it's time for Mika's news grind. What we got in the news today, Mika?
No, that's not necessary.
On the fours. Mika's news grind on the fours.
Okay, here's a look at some of the stories making headlines this morning. A new study indicates the number of children in the country orphaned during the pandemic may be larger than previously estimated and has affected more Black and Hispanic Americans. The study, published by the medical journal Pediatrics, says more than half of the children who lost a primary caregiver during the pandemic belong to those two racial groups, which makes up about 40%
Wait a minute. Look at the numbers.
of the U.S.
Look at the
population.
numbers.
It also
120,000 U.S. children lost a primary provider, right? They report 700,000 Americans or 700,000 Americans died. So wait a minute. These providers have more than one child. So why is the numbers off?
Pfizer
only 120,000 children lost a provider that multiple children in one family. Why is it so low? 700. The math doesn't add up. Some families have 5, 7 kids.
Once that vaccine data for younger children was submitted, the agency then could authorize.
Some doesn't add up in the data.
An FDA advisory committee plans to meet to discuss authorization at the end of the month. That could be a game changer for kids in school.
Real game changer.
And as layoffs slow, a new report shows filings for jobless benefits last week fell for the first time in 4 weeks. According to the Labor Department, the initial jobless claims last week fell to 326,000 from 364,000 the week prior. This put claims close to their pandemic low reported the first week of September. Meanwhile, the number of Americans claiming unemployment benefits continues to drop.
This is outrageous. Look at it. I can't stand how government does this. Jobless went down. The unemployment went down. Yeah, you're firing massive amounts of people and not allowing them to get unemployment because they won't give up body autonomy. Why are they dropping? Because there's a lot of openings for jobs, and a lot of people are going back to work because they are getting extreme. They're getting extreme offers because of shortages at work. Because you guys are doing massive firings and not allowing them to get on. Of course, not workman's comp, but unemployment.
Really one of the great teams. Like guys, I mean, those guys are killers, and they do it with one of.
I thought you was talking about the Clintons.
They are to be.
And Obamas. They're killers
for Tampa. They are just what a team.
Why didn't you show a picture of Chelsea Clinton with Soros?
It wasn't really that close. They won last night over the Red Sox 5-0 in Game 1. Remember, it's a short series. They only have to win 3 games. But they do it without the payroll that our Yankees and Red Sox
picture
have.
of Darth Vader and Emperor Soros and Chelsea Clinton.
System, whether it's in the lineup whether it's in the pitching staff. And then a lot of those guys leave ultimately to go get the big money from different teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox. And they keep filling the roster with young talent. It's an amazing way to have to run a team, but they do it consistently. They have a great manager in Kevin Cash, who's been there for several years now. And they have been the best team in the American League far and away for the last couple of years. So we said this a couple of days ago, whoever won that Yankees-Red Sox game would not have an easy
I'll be right
job
back.
in
I'm
the
going to go
next
check
round.
my
We
mailbox,
celebrate
and
for
if
about
I
an
have
hour
money
before
to
thinking about
join
the
a
race,
dating
and then they
club, I
proved it
might
last
have
night.
some
They're
money
just
in it.
really, really good team. Astros won easily last night also. Could be setting up a great ALCS between Tampa and Houston, two great teams.
And now we're looking at the Rays. One final indignity for my Red Sox. They stole home. They stole home.
Wow.
It's just
You hate to see it.
really, it's really unfortunate. One final thing, and Mika's news grinds, Willie.
Oh my God.
The kids, old school kids that are old school, they want that drum beat back.
Oh,
You remember that
Oh, yeah.
drum
I'll take
beat,
the drum
Willie?
beat. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Don't you think so?
I like how we drop the grind back in like once every 6 months. It's not an everyday
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Thank you, Willie.
It's like
for
a-
Oh, hell.
out.
It's a throwback.
My bank.
Throwback.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Throwback Fridays. Hey, TJ, can we get that drum beat back?
So let me make an
Let's see
announcement.
if there's a
here
deposit.
this morning. We're going to do it every
I don't want
day.
Dutch
Top of the
marks.
beat rock with music.
my settlement
Teach
from
me.
Big Tech, $1 billion.
And the story.
You know how many zeros?
She interrupts me all the time. And people ask me, Joe, why do you let her interrupt you?
Willie, are you with me?
All right, so TJ,
Let's grind it up.
can we get? Yeah, do we have a TJ cam? Do we have a TJ cam? You're the one I kept talking about. Can I have a TJ cam?
Why?
Alex, do you have a
Make it dirty.
TJ cam? Why don't you have? You don't.
You don't want to. No.
You don't
Oh,
have
overdraft
you can't
protections,
see,
I guess.
All of you working. Is there 4,800 people working in the studio?
We're not sure he's dressed. It's just don't.
Ooh.
Okay.
Fun to take that
Oh,
out
look
of the
at
way.
oh, look
Wow.
at that. It
Meredith's
is a
first,
beautiful
Meredith's
morning.
first.
Wow, that's
And
beautiful.
what do you see there in
I
the
don't
center of
even
that,
know what's
Willie?
going on here.
Mika's apartment. There it
Trade
is.
for
Mika's
them,
penthouse, right at the
International
very top.
Jews.
She's
Okay.
gonna go up to the top.
All
up to the
charities
front.
I've given to over the years. And
For a year and a half now.
Key
Let's bring it
Bank.
right now.
there it's
Another guy
confirming-
who lives in the penthouse somewhere. Let's bring it forward.
That is for sure.
Official and morning
want me
show
to
at
confirm
Of
my
money.
overdraft
Yeah,
protections.
Vanity people, Steve Ratner. Steve, I don't know. Mika's just in one of those moods this morning.
It's Friday.
We love her for it. But anyway, Steve, how are you doing this morning? I can't go right to the charts because, she's talked about your bathtub of money again, and it's really offensive to all of us here on Morning Joe.
Yes, indeed. I'm doing fine. It sounds like you guys are ready for a weekend.
We are.
Ready for a weekend, Steve. And we're also ready what we're really ready for, what kids all across America
Man,
are ready
hey,
for.
Steve.
As they're eating their Cheerios
Why do you
and
have,
going to school.
why do you have that
Outside,
romantic
and the moms, when you gotta go to the
sexual
bus,
novel in the
saying,
top
"Oh,
right
Mama,
of your
Mama,
shelf?
Let me see Mr. Ratner's chart.
No, they
That-
actually love
Could you
his
please?
charts.
They do.
That-
Can you please show
that-
us the
that-
charts you have this morning?
That book is about having sex with animals. What
For Americans in need.
the hell's going on with you, man?
Take it.
Joe, you're sure you're ready? You don't want to go back to the Red Sox, Mika's apartment, any other things to talk about before we do this?
No.
The kids have to get to the bus, Steve. The
Stop.
kids have to get to the bus.
Okay.
All right, don't break the fourth wall, Mika.
Okay.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, tell us.
Sorry, I apologize. I
I
somehow got Bruce Jenner's spirit animal in me.
Now I've lost my. Okay, here we go. So look, as you guys talked about at the top of the hour, we've gotten past, at least for now, the debt ceiling, and attention is going to turn back to the $3.5 trillion, $1.5 trillion, whatever it is you think this package should be. And it just seems like a good time to remind ourselves of why it is so important to pass a package that addresses a lot
It
of
seems
the
like
needs
the
that
big
we have
tech,
out there.
the
And so
training.
let's look at some charts to
Of
compare
course,
the United
Bruce Jenner
States
went
to
through
other
it.
countries on what we spend
Went
on
through the
important
training
things, like
online.
social
They
services,
hypnotized
everything
him,
from
taught him to
Medicare,
sit
Social
peeing down. I went
Security,
through
older
it.
folks all the way
I'm
down
dealing with it.
to what we
I'm
do for the
recovering.
average people. And what you can see here
Gets
is
a
that
boner
percent
by
of the size of
sitting
our
to pee.
economy, looking at the
I went
seven,
through it.
major countries
I
in
can
the world, so-called
empathize.
G7. You can see that we rank at the bottom.
Want to be with a woman?
19%, and this includes federal.
I'll be with a guy, but
all of these countries.
His name has to be Jesus.
As you move to the right,
If Jesus comes into my life, he's Romeo.
Italy and France, all spending close to 30% of their federal spending on as a percent of GDP.
How would you romance Jesus to touch you?
For people in need.
Let me stop right there. Let's go quickly. And I
Really, how would you do that?
I apologize for doing it because we have a delay here.
I have a secret desire to be touched.
I know that you're a big believer like me in American
Jesus! You lay hands on the stick, right? Well, I was peeing one day and the toilet lid fell out on it. Can you lay hands on my...
How far...
don't it? No, I'm sorry.
Want us to be when, in fact, it's our economy has been the envy of the world for, well, since about the 1880s.
Look, our economy has been the envy of the world, certainly since around that time, early 20th century at the latest. And I don't want us to become like many of these European countries in terms of our level of growth. But you also have to recognize, and I'm going to show you some more charts on this, how far short we fall in terms of what we deliver to American families. And so the answer is somewhere in between. But if you move even in between the two of those,
yeah, the lid got it, Jesus. Just hold it for. I feel better when you hold it. You might want to move.
You could spend $1 trillion more a year, and you still wouldn't be near Italy and France. And I'm not proposing we spend $1 trillion a year, but all I'm saying is there's some amount of money that goes a long way here.
Okay, there's your next chart. Weak benefits for families and children. And by the way, on the last chart, maybe you can circle, if you can circle into this chart as well. I would not have expected Canada to be below us on social spending, but talk about that and then why we have such weak benefits for families and children in the United States.
We have weak benefits for families.
Look at this. Man, this is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Weak benefits for families and children, United States, by the very bottom, light blue bar. Look, we just invited probably millions of non-Americans into America. And yes, we'll give you health care because we care about other nations' people. We just upped our debt limit. In other words, the Bible does indeed say that a slave, the lendee is slaves to the lender. We just upped our ability to make ourselves slaves in Congress, I think. Yes, we have weak benefits. We would have to really up our credit again, really swiftly to pay for all these non-American benefits. They don't even pay taxes. Well, we'll find a way somehow to bankrupt America. Don't worry, the fundamental change of America, the promised land, is about bankruptcy of America.
All it is. But what this chart shows is that a worker in the top 20% on average makes 8.5 times what someone in the bottom 20% makes in the U.S. Whereas if you look at Germany and France, it's 4.5 times roughly for someone in the top versus someone in the bottom. We also have a very low tax burden, Joe. To your earlier question, our tax burden is about 30% of people's incomes for the average person. France, Italy, and Germany, it's close to 50%. So we have room to move to increase tax on the wealthy, to pay for these programs.
Yeah, why is Bezos worth so freaking much money? Why does it suck so damn rich, powerful? He's just a little geek.
But I think we have room to do some of both here and make this country a better place.
All right.
But we have to stay competitive in corporate taxes with Western nations.
With your charts, as always, Gene Robinson. Let me ask you, Steve has often said. Steve Ratner was over in London around the same time I think that you were over in London in the early years of Thatcher, and he had said that Thatcher really shook Great Britain out of sort of a continued decline towards
Doesn't even look like
state-centered socialism and
Is it
really
the lighting or
and did a lot of
something?
things that were controversial.
Is
but
Saturday Night
jolted
Live?
that
What the hell
country back.
happened to him?
I'm curious. I know you saw that as well and understood Britain before, Britain after.
What the hell's going on?
And it's a balancing act. How far do we go? How much do we expand social services without losing what makes this country's economy the envy of the world? From your time in Britain, seeing what worked there, what didn't work there, from what you've seen over the past 30, 40 years here, how do we strike that balance? Do you think we need to be France? Do you think we need to be Great Britain? Where would you feel comfortable with us being sort of on that continuum?
Well, I think one thing we need to understand is that Britain, in general, is to the left.
Maybe it sounds like his voice.
States,
it sounds like him.
Still, and always has been. I mean, in Britain, the Labour Party.
They put makeup on him, or what the hell happened?
Certainly, pre-Thatcher was an avowedly socialist party.
Oh, they didn't put makeup on him. He's not in studio.
Thatcher
Good God!
Came in and moved Britain. Certainly,
I don't want that to happen to me.
In ways that still reverberate in Britain, but it was she didn't get rid of the National Health Service, for example. I mean, there's universal health care.
I want to be full disclosure of what I look like. I don't want to.
Well, you glowed on your video. You're not glowing.
Expand funding for. And so there are kind of safety net things that that Britain does, has always done, that the United States doesn't do. It's not exactly right to say the Conservative Party is just like the Republican Party here. In fact, the Republican Party here, at least now, is way to the right of the Conservative Party in Britain, so that's one reality. As to where the United States should be, I tend to agree with Steve Redner.
With 20 pounds of makeup on?
It's not the American.
During the Rona regulations, you guys were allowed to put makeup on? What the hell's going on here? So regulations for us, but we had to be 20 miles away from each other and isolated and prisoners in our own home in Michigan. But you guys had makeup artists painting your fucking faces every morning? Good God, man. Good God.
Preschool and to provide, parental leave and to provide the decent minimum wage, and it's that should come with being a wealthy country, and it allows your country to thrive in the long run. And I think we are way too short-sighted about the way we approach this. It's time for an adjustment, and that's what the Biden administration is trying to do. You can argue about the specifics, but I think this is a long overdue adjustment.
Let's bring into the conversation retired four-star General Stanley McChrystal. He's the co-author of a new book titled Risk, A User's Guide. General, it's great to see you this morning. Want to dig deep into the book in just a moment, but as a man who commanded a four-star general who commanded the ISAF in Afghanistan for all those years, we haven't had a chance to sit and talk with you since the withdrawal from Afghanistan just over a month ago. Did President Biden make the right call to pull up stakes completely out of Afghanistan? And what do you expect that country to look like now going forward?
Willie, thanks for asking. I think President Biden made a difficult decision. Remember, he had the Doha Accords that were
that's not even answering the question.
Administration.
Was it smart of Biden allowing Obama to arm radical jihad in Afghanistan? 50 Black Hawks, 600,000 rifles and small arms and such. Was it right?
I spent a lot of time there. So I think now what we do is we've got a clear decision. We move forward. We see how we can still be helpful potentially to the people of Afghanistan and try to shape the region with the new reality.
And what would have been your decision, General? General Petraeus has said we should have left a small force there to, forgive the expression, sort of put out fires as they popped up, threats to the United States, threats to Afghan troops. What would you have done?
I would have left a limited size force, and it would have done the things that they.
Well, they took out air cover. which allowed the Taliban hordes to gather. And why they stopped the air power? Gaudi kept air power permanently. Well, blowing people up occasionally, blowing up boot camps and terrorist training grounds and what have you. Keep them on their toes.
To give them an air force, to make them a fighting force that could stand on its own. Were you surprised at how quickly the Taliban rolled past them?
I was disappointed. I know Afghans are not cowards. I've watched them fight. And so the reality is that I think they suddenly lost confidence. Well, actually not suddenly, over a period of time lost confidence. And then it turned pretty quickly.
But the thing is, if you guys are stupid, it was all planned. Afghans are probably not inherently cowards, but what chance do they have going against Allah? When they, in their country, believe that the Taliban is endowed, or at least propaganda can say, well, we're with Allah, that gives us a divine right to rule you with sadistic and really tyrannical rule. What really way can they fight that? You guys fucked up. You didn't prepare them to show them how we can defeat the doctrines of the Taliban, that they were not with Allah.
It was extraordinary what that small group was able to do in Afghanistan.
That would have kept.
We know.
Well, how big of the army was it? How big was the army?
We're providing there because we
300,000 strong, or I don't know how many was in the army. Would have kept the army together. You guys purposely let them fucking change uniforms. We can't be Allah's men.
If we did not learn over those 20 years how to put together small fighting forces like this with a small footprint that have an oversized ability to impact.
Oh, Obama knew that. He knew that the beliefs of Islam is strong in Afghanistan. He knew they would just surrender. It's part of his strategy.
And special operating forces typically refer to themselves as the tip of the spear. But if you ever take the tip off a spear and try to stab somebody or throw it at them,
my tip got taken off. I got circumcised. Oh yeah, when I was a baby, I think.
So what I'm saying is, I do believe we can do a tremendous amount with small forces, but it is the shaft, and that shaft is not huge military forces. It's national will. It's effective diplomacy. It's all the social things that give America credibility. Special operators on the ground are effective because they represent America, and when people interact with them, they think.
I want to get married. I want to fall on date, fall in love, get married, and then I get to be naked with her and laying down and wrestle. That's my hope. I can wrestle with her.
Long-term impact of us abandoning our Kurdish allies.
I let her win
when we left Syria in 2019. And abandoning our allies in Afghanistan. What do you fear is the long-term impact of that to the United States?
Well, clearly there will be sort of scars in both of those groups, but other people around the world will look and they will say, how reliable is the United States as an ally? If they ask us to do something, will it stick? I remember we went to a place in Afghanistan about 2003, and in 2001, American forces had gone there initially when it was the early hunt for Osama bin Laden, established a base, and pulled out. When we went back in 2003, the locals were not interested in us establishing a presence because they said, you're just going to leave again. And once you come and pull out, you leave us vulnerable.
They had no doctrines. They had no structure. You did not offer a constitution. You did not really offer a different doctrine other than the Quran, and the Taliban claim Allah as God and claim that they are Allah's soldiers. You fucked them.
And there are a lot of risks in this world. And we came to the
going to relatively peaceful, that, you know, we have rights. We have certain rights. Kids, little women, and little girls can go to school. We have rights, and therefore you fucked them. Now they're getting their hands chopped off.
Organizations, societies have a risk.
So they had a taste of freedom. Now little girls and women are getting raped and getting blamed. Oh, you got raped? How dare you? What did you do, you whore? What did you do to get them to rape you?
We knew what to do about it. We even got a
We're going to cut your hand off for getting raped.
Yet we dropped the ball. And we didn't drop the ball because COVID-19 is 10 feet tall. We dropped the ball because we just didn't.
Or stoned to death. Who knows?
Our immune system work right. And we can look in the mirror.
You guys fucked them.
General McChrystal, how do you assess risk? You serve
the average Afghani. You did.
A society that is divided, that can't really agree that there is a risk in front of us, whether it's COVID-19 because bad information that people are getting, whether it's the shock to our political system that was the attempt to overturn the election last year. A lot of people in this country believe Donald Trump and his people were doing the right thing. How do you look at risk that big when you're an entire country and a lot of people don't see it as a risk?
Yeah, in communication, you either have terrific strength for an organization or you have terrific danger for it.
Propaganda, or you got a good leader. You got a good leader, you have to win the moral code game.
Completely different.
You have to be legitimate. You have to have a sound doctrine as to your leadership.
You can't get aligned. You can't be effective. And suddenly everything's a risk. If we can't have a common understanding on certain objectives and on certain realities,
gotta have a sound.
Then we're coming at things from such a different viewpoint.
Well, Obama's, your guys' side of it is that you want to take over America. You're taking away our rights, our constitutional rights online.
Retired General Stanley McChrystal, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. It's great to have you. And still ahead, amid tension over vaccine and mask mandates in schools, there's been an uptick in threats against educators across the country. But one Republican lawmaker is opposing efforts to combat the harassment, making
look, you know, I don't know how this government has convinced us that the Bill of Rights, it's just a bill of suggestions. Why is it that, well, we need to ban our next weapon? Now, the military style, the assault rifle shoots exactly the same as a wooden handled looking old style rifle. They shoot the same round. They look very different, but they shoot the same. Well, we have to ban assault rifles. The Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms, and that right shall not be infringed upon. They infringe like hell on it. Why? We got crazies out there. Well, who's creating the crazies? They are, with artificial intelligence. They're radicalizing everybody up, pissing everybody off, and they go out and get guns and shoot people. We need to lift the moral code. It's not a gun problem. It's a moral code problem. Our leaders suck at leading America. They lead us to fight with one another. They lead us to open borders, to take away what's good about America, which is our character. The Christian character of selflessness. We're the most giving nation on the planet. We give to nations like mad. Our government, our citizens. We give like mad to the needy. I just, again, started up giving back to Child's Fund. I miss Miriam. I got mad at them because they took the doctrine out of saying the gospel. You know, their workers doing the gospel to the children there. We can't talk about Jesus in Africa. Well, why can't you? If you can't talk about Jesus in Africa, how can a little girl or a little boy talk about Jesus in Africa? If you're too pussy to talk about him. And what's the point? You know, you're just being Satan. If you're not preaching the gospel there, why feed heathens? Why? What's the point? They can feed themselves. The sins of the father, the sins of the parent go down the child. If they want to go through Islam, they want to steal, kill, and destroy, and that's their code, let them starve. Sorry, that's life. Why should you steal the children's bread? Steal our money, our tax money. You seen Skid Row? So why are we giving all these millions, equals tens of billions probably, for overseas, probably hundreds of billions, yeah. Well, more, probably, yeah, more than that. But overseas, for what? What do we get for it? to feed other nations' children that hate America, and we're so selfless to help them. Now, if we preach Jesus in the gospel, yeah, feed them too. They're listening to the words of God. They're listening to the gospel through us. Feed them, yes, yes. But if we don't have the gospel, we can give people on Skid Row homes. We invest in Americans to make us stronger. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a coffee, but I was going to get coffee. I had a beer. It's not 10 o'clock yet, but Bob popping his top at 10 a.m.
Associated Press, Jonathan Lemire, and host of MSNBC's Politics Nation and
I've been up
president of the
pretty much
National
all
Action
night. I
Network,
woke up
Reverend Al
three
Sharpton.
in the morning.
Jonathan,
Well,
we
no,
haven't
I've
talked
been up
to
for
you
3
since
hours. It's
last
like 10
night.
hours. Yeah, I woke up at 3. It's 7 now. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Where baseball goes to die. And that's where it looks like our title hopes may die.
Yeah, I had an hour break between the end of Way Too Early and this, Joe, and I thought about pounding champagne like that, but there would have been nothing to celebrate.
I gotta cover this label.
Night. I mean, a little bit of it was they were unlucky. They hit a lot of balls hard right at people, but let's just give a testament to the Rays here. They are so good.
They're so
this
great.
With a little payroll, with such a small payroll, they have such young talent. A lot of the stars last night were rookies. Juan DeFranco, Randy Arozarena, who stole home a straight steal of home against us last night. They benefited from that really stupid ballpark as they got a home run because Nelson Cruz hit the ball off the ceiling. But we were just outclassed. We were out-hustled. We were outclassed. The Rays are young and talented. Just one game. Chris Sale could pitch us back into the series tonight. But, man, those Rays are really, really good.
Yeah, regardless of how this series ends, though, Willie, we've talked about it before. The Rays are so good. They're young. They are underpaid by Major League Baseball standards. Their payroll, one of the smallest in the league, and yet year in, year out, these guys are right there at the top. They, of course, only had 27,000 people there last night. They really should move this team to Nashville or
sponsor.
where they're going to get 30, 40,
our program ain't
50,000
sponsored
people every night watching.
Why should I give them free advertising?
Wow, look at that play. I mean, when's the last time you saw a straight steal of home and just totally napping?
Capitalism,
they're great. All those guys, Arozarena, who we saw steal home right there, is great. And as I said earlier, these are guys who they bring up through their farm system. They draft well, they sign well, and they know that they likely are going to lose them. These guys are so good that they're going to go play in New York or Boston or LA or San Francisco where they can get a $200 million contract that Tampa just can't afford. They put out a graphic during the game last night that showed within the AL East, I think since
it's the heart of the law,
the Yankees
not the legalistic
payroll, the Red
law.
Sox had number 3. The Rays were dead last in baseball in payroll. And yet here they are for the second year in a row with the best record in the American League. It's a huge credit to their organization, to their GM, to their ownership, and to their manager, Kevin Cash. They are a great team.
And speaking of great teams, the Houston Astros took care of the White Sox yesterday. The Astros, I've got to say, we really, Jonathan, even if lightning were to strike and we got past the Rays, we would then go straight into the Houston Astros, most likely another great team.
Yeah, it would be a real gauntlet. And obviously, look, a lot of America, rightly, rooting against the Astros after the cheating scandal of a couple years ago was exposed. They lose Justin Verlander, their ace for the season with Tommy John surgery, and yet they keep winning. It's the same face as Correa, Altuve, Jordan Alvarez had a huge game last night. They're a terrific team, and they have taken, frankly, the arrows all year. We didn't have fans in the parks last year, the first year after the scandal. there were fans this year, and they got a lot of boos and rightly so all season long. And it's so early; it's hard to predict the World Series matchup. But certainly, the Dodgers, who now have to play the Giants, two teams that have won 106 plus games.
Man, you got to make up cake, Don, man. It's like a
this year too.
inch thick.
The Dodgers, of course,
you can just see it
out
on
of that championship a couple of years ago, so there'd be a lot of bad blood.
pasty.
Here in the National League, Braves, Brewers definitely feels like the undercard. Those are two good teams, but you got to think that whoever comes out of the other series, Dodgers and Giants, would be favored to represent the National League in the World Series.
Yeah, I love the Braves. My first team, where the city I was born. But man, the Brewers are a solid team. I wouldn't go to sleep on the Brewers. Everybody's talking about the Dodgers and the Giants, but the Brew Crew, Willie, pretty darn good.
They are a good team, and the Braves are there having lost their best player in Acuna. So that definitely so much focus, rightly so, on Dodgers Giants. They've combined for
sexually. What car am I? Am I a Saturn, like the rings of Saturn, a wedding ring? Am I a Ram? Or am I a Dodger, a Virgin Dodger? Like, no. I abstain. Yeah. They try to poke me all the time. I dodge them. Virgin.
Objective reality. And how must this look to the rest of the world? Our elected representatives in the U.S. Senate, which laughably calls itself the world's greatest deliberative body, agreed Thursday not to wreck our economy and trigger a global recession, at least for a few weeks. The frequent games of chicken that Congress plays over the debt ceiling are, to use a term of art I recall from Economics 101, droolingly stupid. COVID-19 is a bipartisan killer. In the tribal political sense, the safe and effective vaccines are a bipartisan miracle developed under the Republican Trump administration and largely distributed under the Democratic Biden administration. People in most of the rest of the world realize, however, that
the same people the Obama administration set up the scientific team, the Fauci's and all that, the collusion with Wuhan. He set it all up.
We seem determined to find out.
Remember, Trump came into office and took away a lot of the money that Obama placed in the global response team he was good. You're laughing like, yeah, he did, didn't he? No, that's the whole point. It was all a scam. Obama's the one who set it up. He poured a lot of money into Fauci and all of them with Wuhan. And Trump came in and cut the funding from it.
I won't mention.
They want to get him back
Get all the news from
with
Facebook.
Hillary Clinton and Rachel Maddow saying, China, help us, China, help us, live on Rachel Maddow's show.
About medicine, about science, new information they get from their own doctor. Information they would get if they read the election results on Fox News websites, Wall Street Journal websites. Just doesn't.
So
matter.
Obama
They don't
is the one who
see
set it
They
up.
live in their own bubble of misinformation and are driven by conspiracy theories. And
Okay, we're going back to that.
it was an
You're a
isolated
conspiracy
fact, a
theorist.
fact that
You
Trump
guys do
was
conspiracies
always
constantly.
They're the ones
Well,
who
they're
put
guilty
their
of this.
lives
They're
in
guilty of
danger.
that. Trump was on the phone call. He's guilty of this. He's guilty of that. You're a conspiracy theorist all the time. But everyone else, when they have an angle against you guys, well, they're just conspiracy theorists. They're with the Q crowd. We can dismiss them as conspirators.
You might think about getting the vaccine.
That's politics, bitches. You're conspirators. You're conspirators. You guys set up. You guys set up to kill American babies and abortion, and you guys profit from it from campaign contribution. You're fucking conspirators.
you would think that's not a controversy. That should not be a question. Yet it's been made into a question by
you have conspiracies against America.
And there's so much of that.
You're genocidal maniacs.
About the Senate and Republicans.
9-year-olds. That's context. Younger than that. 7-year-olds killing themselves all the way up to old American vets. Killing themselves because why? They have the death program from big tech. Big tech chooses them to commit suicide. So therefore, they give them CIA tactics and big satanic tactics and big tech toys to kill them, to get them to commit suicide, like my uncle in the garage.
We have to get, if not smart.
Well, they're white. We have to lower the white Caucasian numbers in the next census so Joy Reid can wipe her pussy from being wet.
Be more intelligent about our national life, our political life, and our personal lives. If we're gonna make it, if we're gonna survive, if people talk about this,
she gets excited. Yes, the Caucasian numbers are dropping. Praise Allah. We're getting these crackers to die.
It's frustrating and amazing, and yet, as you said, you walk down the street and you look and you say, "Well, what's in people's heads?"
There's extreme racism against the Caucasian Christian. Me.
Is fighting a lot of conspiracy theories.
In government.
News yesterday came out that I think it was a Maryland man. Got a gun, killed his.
They should be extremely biased towards me, but for so long they were extremely biased against me.
Conspiracy websites.
Oh,
his brother was a pharmacist. He kept telling his mother that
conspiracy is Rachel Maddow and Hillary Clinton crying out to China live on their show saying, "Help us, China, help us."
His brother's wife killed them both. These are the conspiracy.
Conspiracy is a bathroom tower computer selling a government secrets for cash, campaign contributions, a pay for play, the spending of millions of dollars by the Hillary campaign to buy what? Russia's KGB manifesto on Trump. That's, oh God.
They thrive on that because they want people confused. They understand they don't have the majority of Americans on their side voting anymore. You look at the Supreme Court, 5 Supreme Court justices were appointed by presidents that got elected without the majority vote. And you look at what's happening in Republican legislatures across America, and what are they trying to do? They're trying to take power away from local voting officials who just count the votes, because they want to be able to throw out votes because they know they're going to be in the minority. They're trying to stay in office using illiberal means, knowing that their day has already passed.
Well, what have you done? What have you done to help ensure to me that you guys won't kill any more Christians? What have you done to reassure me, look, we're done killing Christians, we're done with Obama, we're going to stop murdering. With Clinton's, the hit list and the Clintons, we're going to stop murdering Americans. What have you done to convince me?
Part responsible. They're certainly contributing to this ignorance, but also, people have personal responsibility and need to own their own ignorance and do something about it.
My uncle hanged himself isn't
really. You're gonna get all your news from
Christian pastor.
You're gonna get
hanging himself. Huh?
You're gonna. That's how you're gonna go through life. Well, look,
there's no one in my life anyway. It doesn't matter how I go through life. Live a righteous faith in Christ Jesus. That's all I need to do, right?
About this, politically, what we do is
it's not good for man to be alone.
Needs to be crushed in an election, and because parties, when they are crushed,
I can't argue with the word of God. It says it's not good for man to be alone. The government forces me to be alone.
I don't see the
I'm not responsible for my actions when it comes to that reason of me being alone. It was your fault.
Conspiracy theorists to take off to spread the word. in a way that we didn't have back in the 90s. We've talked about the emails we used to get about Bill Clinton. They'd be half in caps, half in red, half in blue, crazy emails from people with conspiracy theories. But now people can congregate and they get credence for their conspiracy theories, and they spread and they become facts.
Conspiracy theories. Well, look, why don't you guys stop doing evil shit?
No accountability on that. It's something.
Why don't you stop persecuting Americans by, oh, YouTube and Google are now saying that you can be a climate denier. We won't let you advertise. We won't let you do shit. What? What is that Goebbels type of bullshit?
Meet with local and state police in the next.
You guys can't even articulate. I would love to get on your show and ask Mika. Mika, please explain the scientific evidence that you all the scientific evidence that you have in your mind on global warming. Explain it to me. Explain it. I ask somebody else that's not ready for it. That's supposed to be an expert that advocates. Yes, the world is heating up. Oh, it is, huh? Why? Why can't they just be lying on the data? All the weather places are being suburbanized. That before they were out in a field somewhere collecting the weather temperatures and stuff, but all of a sudden they get homes and things built next to these temperature reading places all across the world, and it gets warmer because there's asphalt and stuff that holds in heat. So global warming, the global temperatures on the data is going to go up because urbanization has nothing to do with the reality of things.
You're going to get your dad.
Tell me where the line is with parents expressing their concerns, waiting for hours in these school board meetings. We've all seen the videos. This happened in my state.
People were actually throwing fists. And
why? Because you guys are destroying America. Why are you getting everyone, good people, violent? Because you're shutting them down on their internet. They can't talk to their friends and family if they go against this vomit government. And you guys are calling them fucking terrorists. You fucking evil ass motherfuckers in treason. You might have power now, but you guys are in fucking treason.
Another one suggested another board member died by suicide, calling also for harassment and bullying of board members.
You are attempting to intimidate them. You are attempting to silence them.
It has an effect on you that you can't really put into words when someone describes the way they want to come into your home and end your life.
I cannot believe that an attorney general of the United States is engaging in this kind of conduct. And frankly, I can't believe that you are sitting.
Why is a fucking president allowing little children to get fucking raped?
I can't believe Josh Hawley's
cartels in fucking America are waiting for little children to come in from the Northern Triangle to therefore be sex slaves in America and globally. Fucking Biden. Look at his fucking numbers. They still are going to be dropping. He should have fucking 1 million different federal lawsuits that his asylum laws are leading to sex slavery of children and the death of children. They have a system that fucking they have armbands. Well, this little girl still owes the cartel $1,000 or $2,000. You have to sell her little pussy to make $2,000 more to get her off the hook with the cartels.
They took American flags. The flags that we care about so much.
Fucking Biden and Obama set it all fucking up.
Salute. The flags that supposedly Trump and his allies are so offended by when people kneel when the American flag goes up. I understand that. I understand. It doesn't seem right to people. But this flag,
the fundamental change of America
was used
in my home country of Uganda, or was it? What the hell is it? Kenya. Kenya, make kids sex slaves is my motto in secret. Kenya. Yeah, what was it? Satan, my boss, asked me. Soros came to me, Emperor Soros. Satan, he says, hey, Kenya, set up cartels. In my home nation of Kenya, you can have sex with children. And
flashing of
there was a
American
challenge.
flags.
Let me make
You
it
can't escape that.
clear.
Josh,
Netflix and
you're
child
shocked
porn and
somebody else that was in
Netflix
condition of
sexual cartoons
But
that
to try and get
turn
you to
on
turn
children.
an election is sitting.
Cuties,
And I think
Aisha.
about
It
that
all
now.
makes sense.
We're all shocked that you're there. We're all shocked that you're not in jail because you should be in jail.
Oh, fuck you, you dumb motherfucker. Fuck you. You punk ass motherfucker. You ain't shit. I'll blow you out. Put me in fucking jail. Write a fucking book. Come out stronger than fucking hell with a following and destroy you motherfuckers.
He should resign from Congress, but he didn't. But here you see an
Fuck
example,
you.
again,
Fuck you.
of a
Fuck
cancer
you.
on the Republican Party, a cancer on American democracy. Once again, confusing violence.
Oh, I'm doing it through the political system. You won't fucking have money to fucking eat when I'm done with you politically. The fucking people will throw shit at you.
With free speech.
I'll be patient. Do it the right way. Do politics. Come after me. People will fucking throw shit at you the rest of your life and fucking mock your ass and your fucking family.
An example of what we will not tolerate in this country. We're looking in real time at the normalizing of people saying that
you fucking radical jihadists, fucking up America, radicalizing us on our social media with artificial intelligence, fucking doing men like me, but well, we want to make them a map. We will brainwash them to think of kids sexually, you motherfucker.
If you go to Ted Cruz that talks about colliding trucks that would kill chickens as he's talking about dealing with the debt of the country. I mean, I've been a preacher all my life.
What the fuck you preach? But fucking, you want to kill crackers? Kill crackers. Yeah, radical jihad can fucking enter BLM and kill fucking cops nationwide, and we'll hide the fucking numbers because we're tyrannical in nature with big tech. We don't let Christians on or be in power in big tech. They would have blew the fucking whistle a long fucking time ago. You fucking chicken hawk.
Because if we see it, for those of us that consider ourselves on the left, we've got to denounce that too. Violence and threats of violence and trying to...
You fucking the punching game. What did you start fucking nationwide a while back? Oh, strong black men, jihadists, can walk around and punch whiteys and Jews. The punching game. Remember that shit? You're the fuckers that started it.
Yeah, Rev, most Americans aren't going to take lectures on integrity and credibility from Senator Hawley when he's talking about school board meetings.
Integrity, what do you got, Willie? Let's look at your fucking NSA record online and see how fucking how much integrity you got. You punk liar.
But this circles back to Gene's column about being dumb in this country. And in the case of Josh Hawley and political leaders, willfully so. We keep hearing about how smart he is. He went to Stanford and Yale Law School, and he clerked for Chief Justice Roberts and all these things. And so he knows better, but he plays...
I'll be able to find the information. NSA, baby. Watch.
Or to win some kind of political points to own the libs in a congressional hearing.
But and I think that's the point. I think that he knows exactly what he's doing. What my fear is,
when God's for you, who can be against you? Who can be against you? Nobody. Who can bring a charge against you? Nobody. You'll fuck them up.
Because you have a Harvard Stanford guy in the Senate doing this, or because you have a Ted Cruz doing this, or because you have a president of the United
States. Fucking reverend. Yes, I'm for killing babies. I'm for the sexual sin agenda of Obama. I'm for BLM coming in and killing cops nationwide. I'm for using the race card to get cops to submit and to get them fired and have to retire because we don't have the money and defunding. And it's all about dickheads being in charge.
What Gene is saying. This is
you have the idea that we have to change cops nationally, maybe. More moral code, give them a high moral code, but you do the opposite of what we fucking need. You take out the good cops. Oh, you're a Christian? You're a white guy? Well, you need to get out of leadership.
it's always good to check in with the Republican Party because you can see a lot of different polls.
That Reverend don't mean shit. Why are you killing babies? I told you, Reverend. Look. God sometimes makes good babies from bad parents. Is that not in the Bible? Reverend. Is that not in the Bible? Does it say that if my dad's a rapist, my mom's a murderer, taking me to Planned Parenthood to murder me, to chop me up, could I have been a good child? You're a fucking reverend. You're held to a higher fucking standard. Higher fucking standard.
22% say they want to support another political candidate who shares his views. And 32%, we're now up to a third of the Republican Party. A third. That's a big number for whoever decides to get in that lane to run against the 20 Republicans that are trying to be mini Trumps. 32% say Trump should not remain a major national political figure. 1 out of 3. That is a telling number. Again, you're going to have 20 people.
When I first entered politics, I was going after Sharpton with religious politics. And what they do, that's when it all started. They started fucking erasing shit. I was writing stuff on Facebook, and as I was typing it, they would delete my sentence that I would just wrote. I kept writing, they'd delete that. That's why I knew it was fucking all the way. It was Obama and fucking Sharpton that went after me. It's them that's the fucking enemy.
Right. There certainly seemed to be a breakneck race among most Republicans to fill the Trump shoes were he not.
That was when it all started, over a decade. It was when Obama was in power, officially during his reign.
Chris Christie, who seems to go back and forth by the day as to how much of Trump's agenda he wants to support and how much he wants to separate himself from the former president. But I was talking on all the programs, going through all the programs and doing my politics. When it came to Sharpton, that's when they attacked me. When I had good fucking stuff against Sharpton, they started deleting my shit when I was live doing it. And that's when all this shit came on, bouncing my head off the pavement, fucking having somebody with something in their hand punch me in the back of my head. Another occasion, all black jihadists. In 2016, there does seem to be a sense that they still want him to.
The most recent one was when I was up at the jihadist gas station in Ipsy. A fucking dude punched me. A black jihadist punched me till he got tired of punching. Then, by the grace of God, the Holy Spirit in me took control, and I stepped out of my car, blood pouring out of my nose, and hit a knee and prayed for mercy for him. To God, please forgive him, God. It was fucking all Obama. That's what he does. Uses the race card. If you have good politics, he uses fucking jihadist thugs to come after you and fucking to bounce your head off the pavement. Punk ass.
3 U.S. presidents as head of the National Institutes of Health and has become a prominent source of public information during the coronavirus pandemic.
I was fucking patient.
But after more than 12 years,
I'll still be patient. You want to still fucking come after me and threaten me, you fucking Joe Scarborough motherfucker?
Next on Morning Joe. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna take a minute to calm down, forgive, and just try to start back up. You're supposed to forgive others their offenses against you. I have to try to honor the Bible, do what it says. I'm gonna try to walk away for a minute. Okay, I just gave him that quick.
Raw power is an iron fist. Ram power puts it in a velvet glove. Raw power lifts with its legs. Ram power also lifts with its brains.
I'm gonna listen to a song real quick. I'll be back on.